Alright, what the hell are these wheels? Why do they cost so much? And are they even any good? My cousin got these wheels quite a while ago. Bike Ahead Composites. You've probably seen them maybe in the velodrome, or the occasional road rider will have them. They look a bit funky, but I've been asking him for some time if I could borrow them, and here they are. Now these are really expensive wheel set. I'm going to chuck the price of the wheels up on the screen now. But man, you could almost buy a whole, top of the line frame for that much. So for that much money, how's it compared to some of your run-of-the-mill normal carbon wheels? Let's check it out. All right, let's quickly run through the specs of these wheels. Not only are they super expensive, about 6,000 Australian dollars, they're full carbon construction, made in Germany, and this one that I'm using here has the shallower wheels, so about 38 millimeters, and they're about 1,250 grams, which is actually very light. So they're surprisingly really light. These ones have a 20 millimeter internal width, and you can either run them tubeless or with tubes. I've got this one here set up with tubeless. Now they've got a DT Swiss hub, and the hub has a mean sound. So stay around to the end because I do a hub sound check, and I think you'll like to hear that. So today I'm doing Three Gorges. I'm at the first gorge now, which is Bobbin Head, and there's not a better course. There's so much different parkour to test out these wheels. You've got long flat sections. Obviously you've got all your descents, and then you got all your climbs. So I've made a video on this route before with a guide, so you can check it out there. But just a quick recap of the route. There's Three Gorges here in Sydney: Bobbin Head, Barara Waters, and Golston Gorge. I'm going up the first one now. People are bloody fanging it. This whole section here has been repaved. So I think people are enjoying that a lot. Nice and smooth, corners all leveled out, cambered properly. All right, anyway, so we're doing Three Gorges today: Bobbin Head, Barara Waters, Golston Gorge. Characteristic Sydney climb, about 3 kilometers long, 200 meters elevation, and it will average between 5 to 7%. So that's your characteristic Sydney climb for you. Whew. I haven't done this route for ages, and I'm puffed out.
Now you're probably wondering, what are some of the benefits of this wheel compared to just your standard run-of-the-mill normal spoked wheel? Now the most noticeable thing is how fast the wheels spin up. Because they've got solid carbon spokes, the power transfer is instantaneous. There's no flexing of the spokes at the nipples or where it meets the hub, so when you get out of the saddle you just get instant power in that wheel. It feels actually really incredible. They're also really light, so they accelerate quite fast. Climbing in them is a real joy. That stiffness also translates really well to out of the saddle sprinting efforts. When you're really putting the power down, you're not having any bending in the wheel. There's no creaking or anything like that. They're just really beautiful to run. The cross section of the carbon spokes is in a kind of diamond, almost like a sharp edge diamond shape, which cuts the air, and they've said they've done aerodynamic testing on that. I'm going to get onto aerodynamics later, but when you're riding this, you almost get a little bit of updraft between your legs, and it's got like a helicopter rotor sound. It's quite unique and it sounds pretty cool. Definitely different to your normal rims. They also say on their website that they provide at least 3 years crash replacement. that's a pretty good deal, but you know, if you're crashing, you probably have bigger problems than your wheel set breaking, or maybe not if you spend this much money on it. But I think probably the final benefit of these wheels is you get that froth factor at the cafe. Like, this is a kind of wheel set where you rock up to, you know, your local park up and people are taking photos of your bike. So it looks really, really sick. I wouldn't say I've tested these wheels extensively, but I think I've got a pretty good first impression of them. Some things I actually didn't like, and I have to say, one of the main things for me was I felt like there was actually quite a bit of aerodynamic drag, especially in that 40 to 50k an hour range. So we're talking when you're descending or when you're really hammering on the flats. I definitely felt like there was a bit of air resistance caused by the spokes, and also crosswinds. These wheels kind of struggle with crosswinds because there's so much cross-sectional area. Now, of course, if you're running, you know, 80mm depth rims, you're probably going to have similar problems. But for me, I only run about 40 to 50, so I definitely felt the wind quite a bit more. Look, I know it sounds like I'm complaining about this awesome wheels quite a lot, but I think the main reason for it is that I'm a very light rider. I'm about 65 kilos after I've eaten a donut. So for me, my real weakness is keeping up with the big guys on the flats. I can hold my own uphill, but I feel like I don't need the crutch on the uphill. It's on the flats where I really need to make as many advantages as I can. Try and get as aero as possible and get all those little minute gains. That's why for me personally, I'm quite happy staying with my medium depth wheels. So, are these wheels right for you? I had a long think about it, trying to think of the use case for people that would actually like using these wheels, and I think these is a couple of them. One, you prefer to have a lighter wheel set, you do quite a few little sprint efforts up short, sharp hills. Two, maybe you're in a bit more of a velodrome kind of setting where you need to do big, like, explosive efforts. Or three, you just have so much money that you've run out of things to buy. So that's probably the three use cases I could think of. For me personally, if I had $6,000, I'll be probably buying 2 different wheel sets, or maybe just cashing out on one really nice zip wheel set. But you know, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. If you had $6,000 and you could only spend it on wheels, what would you do? Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate you getting all the way to the end if you made it here. And here is that hub check. Not too bad, eh? Maybe a little bit too loud for my liking. Anyway guys, take care and I will see you in the next video. Bye.